How much did you get for your last deal that you sold?
20,000 and a Wolves box ticket.
Property at the end of the day is a numbers game. The person that makes the most phone calls is always the person that wins.
We're charging £400 a night.
And how much rent are you paying for the apartment?
1,800.
At university and stuff, it's a lot of academic stuff. When I'm training people, it's like, let's do it.
We found this off-market piece of land. We negotiated it down from $1 million to 665. The build would be about 1.2, and then it's going to be worth 2.7 at the end.
What will the profit be on that then?
Just over 800 grand. I'm not a half-arsed sort of person. I'm either all in or I'm not.
When people come up to us and say like, oh, thank you, Chris and Darcy, for having an input into the way my life went, that feeling, there's not much of a better feeling, is there?
Chris and Darcy, the happy couple, super successful, super rich, here today to hopefully share some massive, massive golden nuggets in how to become successful in property. So welcome to Winners on a Wednesday.
Thank you for having us. Excited, aren't we?
Yeah.
So we're like really good friends. And I mean, Chris, in fact, why don't you just introduce yourself? How did you get into the whole world of property?
Yeah, my journey was fun. It was exciting. There was a guy who moved to my secondary school. We kind of became friends at secondary school and we were in the same classes.
What's his name?
Elliot Spencer. You know him, but everyone else probably would have heard of Elliot. Great guy. But we were in the same classes at school and they weren't the top classes. They weren't the bottom, but they were near the bottom, right? So we weren't the smartest kids. We weren't the most intelligent, but we were okay. Anyway, we became good friends through school and college, and Elliot went off to do a plumbing and I went into the care sector. And a couple of years later, anyway, I seen Elliot and I bumped into him in the pub. And I said, oh, what are you doing now? I've seen you on kind of Facebook and Instagram and it looks like you're doing really well. He was like, oh, I do property, mate. I said, what do you mean you do property?
I do property,
yeah,
mate.
I do property. I said, what do you mean? That's for clever people. That's for rich people. What do you mean? He goes, no. I didn't. I've done it. I can do it. I said, tell me more. So he started telling me about you and crash courses and the £1 events and the training and deal selling. I was like, what is deal selling? I didn't have a clue what it was. And anyway, he convinced me to come to a crash course. And then I paid for the advanced training, some of your advanced courses. And it absolutely blew my mind. I mean, Elliot, he sold over 200 deals now. And when he said that, I did the maths and I thought, so this guy's not smart. He's from where I'm from. We have the same friends. Like, I can do this, right? So that was my
What
journey.
was that? It was like, what year was this?
This was, I think, 2018, maybe 2019, around that
Sure.
sort of
So
time.
quite a few years ago now.
Yeah.
And you've gone on to grow a huge, business and property portfolio. And Darcy as well, like, because you guys met on the training.
We did.
So how did you get into the world of property?
Yeah, so my story is a bit different. So I was 19 and at the time I was doing a degree apprenticeship with an investment bank. I had a good path set out for me, but I saw you on YouTube and I thought I need to come down to one of the crash courses. They're only £1 and I was always interested in property. So I came down to one of the £1 courses and I became very obsessed very quickly, and I got addicted to property, to training. So I went on, a bit like Chris, did the advanced training, found a real, niche for serviced accommodation that I loved. So I started building up my portfolio with that. Then obviously I met Chris at one of the.
Can we just talk?
I'm not like a predator. Like I feel like I'm being made out to be like waiting at a
Can
course.
we just talk? Do you remember when I called you about?
Oh,
Yeah.
this was like 2 a.m, wasn't it?
It was 2 a.m. in the morning.
Me and Chris had been out clubbing.
Yeah, we've been from our point, we've been out clubbing, driving home, talking a bit of business and whatever, and I'll let you tell them.
Yeah, from your perspective, because I've never actually heard this story from your perspective.
So from my perspective, I was at a friend's house in Bournemouth where I was living at the time, and we'd also just been out. And I got home and I saw your name calling me at 2 a.m. and I thought, Samuel never calls me at 2 a.m. I mean, I know you're dedicated to your students, but it was like a real dedication. So anyway, I pick up the phone. I'm like, hello, is everything okay? And you were like, so, I'm on my own, which straight away I was like, definitely with someone.
I don't remember saying that.
Yeah, little do I know you were with Chris.
Did you say that, did it?
Well, yeah.
I would never lie.
It was,
Maybe I stepped out the car for a minute.
It was more just it was between me and you.
Okay, confidentially
speaking.
Yeah, you probably didn't really know of me then.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I'd seen you about, but, didn't know of you. And then you were like kind of saying that obviously I'd grown up my portfolio, I was doing well in property. And did I want to, come on and help out at some of the events and blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, I'm at the events and then that's where
Yeah, because
came into
me and Chris were talking, and he was like, "Who's Darcy? Who's that girl on Winners on a Wednesday? Because you done Winners on a Wednesday already. You were smashing it, doing rent-to-rent service accommodation. young." And he's like, "Who's that?" And I was just like, "Let me see if I can get her to one of the events. I can hook you up." And now you are getting married. Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
Thank
you.
You
moved into a big, beautiful white mansion just across the road from here, next to my house.
Yeah.
And business is booming. So it's just like a magic. And even Elliot Spence, the guy you talked about, he married my PA.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? How many people have I married off?
If anyone's single, just come at Samuel
just
and he'll
come and
match
start property. Yeah.
Yeah, become a property investor. It will all pan out. So talk to me about deal selling, right? Because I know that was kind of what you started off doing. You started with rent to rent. You were deal selling. What is deal selling?
Deal selling is where you take a property, a good property deal, you find it, you actively go there and secure it for a certain price, and you then pass that deal onto an investor, somebody with money essentially, for a fee, usually around £3,000. Depends on the size of the deal, but usually around £3,000.
How much did you get for your last deal that you sold?
The last one we did was £20,000.
£20,000 for a finder's fee?
20,000 and a Wolves box ticket to go. So I support Wolves.
Right.
So the guy threw in a Wolves box ticket for me to go and watch the matches.
What?
Because it's all about sales, right? I was obviously trying to sell him, but he knew I liked Wolves and I liked football. So he said, "Look, I'm gonna give you 20,000." Because I think originally we wanted 30.
Yeah.
But
what was this deal?
So essentially it was a kind of straightforward big buy to SA. So there were 6 apartments in Chester, right by the race course, that were already been running a service accommodation for years, and they were making like 120 grand a year. We saw all the figures, we verified it, did a lot of groundwork on it, and we negotiated the price down to, I think it was 900 in the end, and he wanted over £1 million.
Right.
But we said, look, we'll buy them all. And to be fair, at the time, we were like, this is a killer deal. Like we would have had it had we not been tied up and too busy in other things. But we thought, you know what? Since the training, we're not going to let a deal go to waste like this.
Yeah.
That's when it then came in.
Being a deal sourcer and being a property investor go hand in hand. Because if you're a property investor, I know you guys are investing in property actively. You're just buying a piece of land as well at the moment.
Yeah.
But if you're out looking for deals yourself anyway, you're going to find stuff that doesn't quite work for you. Or you're going to find, it's like when you're waiting for a bus and suddenly 3 come up once.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking for property deals and then suddenly 3 come up once. To just flush down the drain the deals that don't work for you doesn't make any sense.
No, makes no sense. And this is the thing, like you said, you're out there looking for deals and you're doing viewings. Also, if you're in the right network in the environment, like we come to your programs and the events, we're meeting people all the time. We're always putting ourselves out there. I mean, it might sound harsh, but it wasn't that hard, was it? It was like, we got a great deal. I met someone the other week who I know would love this deal, lives in the area. Yeah. Let's just put them together. And to earn £20,000 off that was a bit like, that's just... almost feels silly.
Like, that's like a month's salary.
But still, you know, we didn't do that much work, right? You know,
we didn't. You know, it was like you say, it was pretty easy for us. When you have the right education and you know what you're doing and you're in the right circles, it's not difficult to watch them.
I'm an investor. I want a deal. I'm going to give you the objections and I want you to tell me what you would say. Okay. So let's take that 20 grand deal that you sold for 20 grand. Right. I'm an investor. You've just hit me up and said, hey, I found this apartment block. It's worth 1.1 million. I've negotiated it for 900. That's 200 grand below market value. And all I want is 20 grand. Sounds interesting. Could you give me a bit more information?
Yeah, of course. What information would you like to know?
I just want to know the address, please. The full address.
So in terms of the address, it's not something that I can give to you at the moment. If you would like to see it and you would like to know whereabouts it is, then I'm more than happy, but we do need to take a small fee up front and have an NDA signed just because it is off market and we have got it, you know, much below market value. I can tell you that it is in Chester. It's right near the race courses. The property itself has been running a serviced accommodation for the past 5 years, and we have all the stats and figures to show that it's been making a profit of minimum £10,000 per month. So the area itself is very central. It's very brilliant. The actual strategy has already been working for years. It's simply a change of ownership.
And what's your finder's fee?
25,000.
You want 25 grand, literally, for just introducing me to one deal. That sounds a bit steep.
You may see it as steep. However, compared to the ratio of the money that you're going to be making and the value that this deal is. You're going to be owning it. So you're going to have an £1.1 million portfolio added to you with an income of £10,000 a month. So it may seem steep, but for the ratio of what you're getting, we think it's actually a very fair price.
Well, I guess you've knocked off 200 grand. I mean, I need to do my market research and I need to see that it really is worth 1.1 million before I pay any money. So, I mean, would I be able to maybe get a viewing or something on it while I kind of do all my research?
Yeah, of course, we're more than happy to arrange a viewing, but again, that will come down to signing an NDA. It's business for us and we've put a lot of work into this and done a lot of due diligence. Therefore, we need to know that if we're going to let you view this property and it's something that you want to go ahead with, we need some sort of commitment your side.
Right.
And once we have that
So
commitment,
what do you need from me?
We need an NDA signed and we need £5,000 up front.
Oh! She's good, man.
She's brilliant, isn't she?
So you need £5,000 up front.
Yes.
What happens if I pay you? You're really good, by the way.
Thank
I
you.
can see why you guys are killing it in business. If I pay you £5,000 and then I don't like it, then what happens? Because I'm not paying £5,000 up front and then potentially the property is terrible and then losing £5,000. That's not fair.
No, of course. And we understand that as investors ourselves. You don't want to be putting money down the drain. Therefore, that £5,000 that you pay now, you will have it back within 14 to 21 days if there are any issues and you wouldn't like to go ahead with the deal. We are so confident that this is such a brilliant deal. And if it weren't for other things going on in our career, we would actually invest in it ourselves. If for whatever reason within those 14 days you encounter a problem, you don't like it, £5,000 refundable, it says it on the contract and is legally binding.
And how long do I have to decide if I want to pay the remaining 20,000?
Those 14 days.
So I've got 14 days to make up my mind for sure.
Yeah.
If I want the money back, you give me back.
Yeah.
All right. Out of role play for a minute. Firstly, can you sell like that as well?
Nah, that's incredible.
Yeah, you can. You're amazing.
On a good
You're
day, on a
amazing.
good day.
Amazing. He's brilliant.
Yeah. Darcy, you were 19 when you first started in property.
Yeah.
How did it happen exactly?
It wasn't the easiest road for me, I'm not going to lie. So, like I say, I started out at the crash course.
How was the crash course?
Incredible. It's the whole reason genuinely that I'm here today. It was where I began my property journey. I met so many incredible people. Obviously seeing you live was weird for me because I'd just seen you on YouTube and I learned so much in just a day for £1. And I thought, if I can learn this much in a day, imagine how much I can learn when I go on and do advanced training and really take this seriously.
Sure.
So I did the crash course and I went home and obviously I was, on a big high. And I was speaking to my family and I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I've made up my mind. Like, I don't want to be an investment banker. I don't want to do a 9 to 5. Like, I want to do property. So anyway, my family, being protective, they were like, well, don't rush into anything, just calm down, see how it goes. I didn't listen to their advice and I quit my job and I quit my degree.
Oh.
I know, which I was doing very well in at the time. But I was like, if I'm going to commit, I want to be 100%. Like, I'm not a half-ass sort of person. I'm either all in or I'm not. So anyway, I quit that. All my friends, all my family weren't happy. I had many arguments with my parents. Now I understand it came from a place of love and care, but at the time I really didn't see that. So once I committed myself 100%, it was just like a snowball because I had all this time and all this education from you and meeting all these new people to just really go at it with property. So that's exactly what I did. I was on the phone every day to agents, to landlords. I was going on so many viewings. And property at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. Mm-hmm. The person that makes the most phone calls is always the person that wins.
Right.
So I just adapted that sort of mindset and thought, if I get into a daily habit of doing a certain amount of things, I'm going to get results. And I came onto your advanced rent-to-rent service accommodation and HMO training. And you being the brilliant teacher you are, straight away we're like, right, here's the script, go and call people. And I was like, what on earth? So anyway, I did the task and I got 5 viewings within half an hour, which I was very happy with. And one of those viewings was my first SA deal.
That's
and
incredible.
Yeah, it was
That's
crazy.
the thing as well with the training. At university and stuff, well, not that I've ever done university, but it's a lot of academic stuff.
Yes.
Whereas when I'm training people, it's like, let's do it. Pick up the phone. And people like yourself from an academic background are shocked.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, here's the rent-to-rent script. Blah, 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 blah. Everybody practice. Turn to your neighbour, practice. Is everyone comfortable? Great. Get your phone out. And then people are like, oh, suddenly people need to go to the toilet. I'm like, Stick in the room. Get your phone out. Call 5 people and say that. And we force people to. And you got 5 viewings. And then where was that first deal that you got?
So it was in Portsmouth, right near Gunwharf Quays. It was a 2-bed apartment that I still have to this day. Makes about £1,000 a month. The rent's pretty cheap. Great cleaning team in place, and I've never had any issues.
How do you systemize the business? Because I know for you it's quite passive.
Yes, very passive. It's one thing to be able to get properties. It's another thing to actually be able to have passive income. It's very, very different. So what I was taught, again, by you and your team is systemization. So we use, in my opinion, the best channel manager that automates pretty much 99% of things. My cleaning teams...
What channel manager do you use?
I use Uplisting.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Really good one. And my cleaners, I call them my superheroes. They're my eyes and ears. They're brilliant. They're the ones that are actually at the property.
How did you find them cleaners?
Believe it or not, I love Checker Trade, don't I?
Yeah. And the latest one, we did Facebook Marketplace as well.
Yeah, Chris
Really?
loves it.
How do you find cleaners on Facebook Marketplace?
We just literally, we were struggling a little bit, weren't we, to find a good cleaner in our latest one in Sandbank. So I went on Facebook, just typed in any local cleaners, and we got about 30 responses.
Yeah.
And they've been incredible.
Yeah.
It's, what
That's a great way of getting
Yeah,
it. I've never even thought of that.
Yeah, and honestly, it was like 30 people, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah. Do you make more money from your service accommodations or from your property developments?
Oh, development for sure.
But I guess it's different type of income.
Yeah.
Very different type.
How much do you make on your rent-to-rents?
Oh, they probably make us about 10 grand a month, I'd say.
Yeah, it depends.
Depends on
this
the
summer's
season.
been higher.
Where was your last rent-to-rent that you got? Where's your area now that you're focusing on?
Sandbanks.
Sandbanks.
Really?
Yeah, we love Sandbanks.
Is that like not very seasonal though?
No, we are now getting bookings for November and December as well. So it's a tourist attraction. And to be fair, we only did that project mainly because we love going to Sandbanks. So it wasn't, I mean, obviously it was for a little bit of money, but the money side of it has been...
Does it make good money?
Yeah.
Talk to me about the last deal that you got in Sandbanks, which is now live, and how much it makes and how it works.
I mean, so at the moment through the summer, we're charging £400 a night to stay in a 2-bed.
Damn.
Yeah. I think one of your friends...
Oh, mate, can I tell the story? That's a funny story. So basically, I'm in Sandbanks because I go on holiday there sometimes. And I was staying, this is a while back now. It's when I was training for my Rob Moore fight. So I was just staying in some hotel. But then my boxing trainer, I was like, hey, can you come to Sandbanks for the week? Train me. He was like, yeah, I'll come. So I said to him, you can sort your own accommodation out. I'll just reimburse you. He said, fine. So I'm chatting with him. I said, where are you staying? And he says, oh, I'm staying in this beautiful apartment. It's like right on the beach. It's amazing. And I was like, oh, nice. And then he said, it's a bit shit though. I said, is it? I said, why is that? And he goes, I feel like I'm the first guest. Like the TV's still in the box. It just feels a bit rushed. Like things aren't quite ready. There's a bit of dust behind the wardrobe. And I was like, oh, wow. And then I can't remember how I found out. I think you...
No, he messaged us, didn't he? Saying something about towels or something. Because, confession, he was the first guest in that, wasn't it? And like, Darcy's obviously very professional. And she's like, look, we need a couple more weeks just to...
Yeah.
And I'm very much like, let's just get him in.
Chris
He'll
like,
figure it out.
Get him in.
Yeah. And so he was after it and I think he needed towels.
I think you said to me, oh, my guest is actually a boxer in Sandbanks.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's not my guy.
And then we found out
We put
it
two and
was.
two
And
together.
I was like, oh, this dude's going to slate our apartment. Samuel's going to tell us off because we haven't done a good job on it.
I told him to leave a good review anyway.
He
because
did.
The apartment was good.
And then he asked us how to do it, didn't he?
Yeah.
He actually waited. So he finished his stay there
It
and
was
he
a
waited
bit
and said, like,
creepy.
can you teach me how to do this, guys?
You don't own the apartment, you just control it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you £400 a night.
Yeah, through the summer.
And how much rent are you paying for the apartment?
1,800.
That's nice, man. And that's like bring you right near the beach as well, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we wanted to go there all summer and it's been so hard to actually go because it's just been...
It's been
Probably
100% occupancy. We haven't even been able to enjoy it.
And how old are you now, Darcy?
I'm 22.
22. How at 22 do you have the experience and have built up the portfolio that you've got? Like, what's your super hack? What's the secret?
I wouldn't say there's any super hack. I've always said I hate people that moan and make excuses. I find them the most boring people. I always say, I never saw my age as an issue. And, I've had women come up to me and say, oh, have you found it really hard being a young woman in property? But I always say to them, if straight away you're coming up with that excuse, you're not going to get where you want to get. Mm-hmm. I never thought of it as, oh, I'm only 19 and I'm only a young girl. It's like, no, I'm an adult. I know what I want to do with my life.
Sure.
And I know now how I can get it. So I just need to do it.
Sure.
And I can vouch for that because I see you do this. And what Darcy's so brilliant at. And one of the things I love about you is like obviously when it's on a Wednesday right now and it's all great, but there's been times where it's hard. Like, of course, there's times where we haven't got the deal we wanted or didn't get the investor, right? And every time Darcy will, if something doesn't go quite well, she'll take a moment and you can see she's dejected, but then she'll just go, well, every millionaire's had failures. I've just got to keep going. And now she says every billionaire, but so it's moved on. But that is such an incredible mindset that you do, don't you? You take a pause and you go, well, everyone's struggled at one point. I've just got to go on to the next one now. I've got to find the next one.
Yeah.
And that is brilliant. And it's one of your best qualities for sure.
That's amazing. What do your friends think, Chris, about your new fancy house?
It's mixed. It's so interesting. I threw a party, you came to it, and it's interesting because half of them are super proud and, they love what I'm doing and they're asking what they can do. And there's this other half that I love them, but I can just see a little bit of, I'm going to say it, jealousy, a little bit of enviness. And, they're not, I don't know if they're as happy for me as I would be for them. And I don't know if that's because of the position we're in now, that we just want everyone to win. Yeah. I'm trying to cast back to 5-6 years ago when maybe we didn't have all that money. Would I have been a little bit envious, possibly? Was I envious of Elliot? Maybe, maybe I was. I'm not envious, and I wanted him to pull me up. But yeah, it was really, really interesting just to see.
I want to say, though, massive respect and kudos to you guys as well for pulling people up. I want to talk about Uganda, and I also want to talk about what you do to give back, coming to a lot of the events as well. But talk to me about how Uganda came about and what happened.
Uganda was the most incredible experience. When I first met you and heard about your charity work, I was like, I want to come out with you. And then, what was it, like a year ago, we got a call?
Your living room, weren't we? I remember it. I remember it clearly.
Yeah, we got a call from you and you were like, hey guys, I'm going to Uganda. Fancy coming along? Straight away, we were like, yes. You were like, it's these dates, okay? We were like, we don't care. Like, we're in, we'll make it. So you took us out to Uganda, and that arrival was such
So we've been on what? A 30-hour flight.
We got stuck in Egypt.
There was delays, and
we got stuck in Egypt with Tony.
I felt so bad for him, but at least you were with Tony.
Yeah, and like
getting some free mentoring.
Yeah, and we were tired, weren't we? And when we arrived, and when we got there to the school, there was what? I want to say 1,000 children.
Yeah, at least.
1,000 children just welcomed us because of what you've done for them already, and we were associated with you, and they were dancing around. It was like it felt like kings almost. It was absolutely incredible, and that feeling, that I've got goosebumps talking about it now because there's nothing like that. That day, that moment is something I'll never ever forget.
And you were so inspired that you donated towards the building of school number 2.
Yeah,
yes.
Which is going to be built. Well, I think it's actually finished now. Is it finished?
Yeah, it's finished.
You're going out, aren't you, next month?
Yeah, it's start of November. We're going to go out there again.
That's going to be incredible. Next trip. Are you bungeeing next month?
Yes, she is.
Are you? Come on. We're live recording.
Come on.
Will you do it?
I'll skydive. I won't bungee.
Oh.
I'm only 22 and I don't have a death wish.
Oh my goodness. Skydiving's more scary than bungeeing.
No, I'd rather do that. Because
Really?
then I've got someone behind me with a parachute and I can enjoy it. Whereas in a bungee, you can't see anything.
You did a bungee, didn't you?
I did a bungee. Oh my God, I'm still shaking.
That is scary, isn't it?
It's scary because you got to be the one that throws yourself off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, as well, you come back to the events, which I know you come back for your own reasons, and you do a lot of networking, get a lot of business and everything like that, which is great. But also, it's a massive help for me because at the crash courses and stuff, there's so many people that are interested in doing advanced mentorship, the academy, and me sitting down with everybody and working out the right package for them. What can people afford? Having people like yourselves who've become really close friends with to come is. I really appreciate it, and you guys do a great job, and I know that it's time consuming, and you spend quite a lot of time doing that. You come to pretty much every crash course.
Yeah, near enough.
You're basically there. Why do you do that? What's that like from someone that's been through it and then coming back and helping out? What's that like?
It's incredible. Like, we bump into people. We bumped into someone in the gym a few weeks ago, and when people come up to us and say like, "Oh, thank you, Chris and Darcy, for having an input into the way my life went," that feeling. There's not much of a better feeling, is there? We see it all the time. There was a guy I was speaking to a couple of months ago, and he was from Romania. We got into why he wanted to do deal selling, and he wanted to do the deal selling masterclass. And I said, "Well, why do you want to do that?" And he said, "Oh, I want a nice car." And why do you want a nice car? Oh, so I can show my family what to do. And why is that important to you? And I went deep with him. And in the end, he came to, well, there's a lot of Romanians on the street in London, and I want to be one of the first that shows them there's a different way. You know, you don't have to go on the street selling this, that, and that. There's a different way. So I felt then it was my obligation to steer him towards the deal selling masterclass, so he can then take, at least if it's just one extra person off the street in London, that's my obligation to do that. So I get fulfillment from that as well, from people saying thank you for giving me that little push or talking me into doing this.
Yeah.
That's a huge feeling. That's one of the big reasons I do it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that they do need that little push over the fence, because it is, I understand, for most people a bit of a daunting thing because it's so new. But if we can see someone that, you know, we know what it's like to be in their shoes, we completely understand how they're feeling in that moment, and we know exactly what advice to give them based on the experience that we've now had for the last few years. You know, we have a lot of pregnant women that are on maternity leave and they say, I really don't want to go back to work.
Yeah.
And I really want to get into property, but it's scary for them because they're like, well, you know, it's a bit of a risk for me. And you know, it's nice calming them down, saying, but it's risking yourself. And as long as you put in the right steps, you're going to get the results that you want to see. So it's very, very rewarding for us. You know, we're lucky that because of the income and property that we have a lot of free time. We want to give back. We want to, you know, see people succeed and sometimes push people over the fence that need it. And I always say, you may not like me in this moment, but give it a few months and you'll love me. And they do. And they always come back and they say, thank you so much. Like even Anna, you know, bumped into her. Like,
yeah,
what?
It's incredible.
Oh yeah, just today. I interviewed them on Winners on a Wednesday, and as they were leaving, you arrived, and the first thing they said is thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you were the training advisors that sort of got them.
Yeah, and she was emotional when I was speaking to her at that point in time. She was very emotional, and her husband, he was really unsure. He was almost a little bit angry with me. I was a little bit scared. He's quite a big guy, and yeah, just bumping into them now, and then, you know, almost shaking our hands, thanking us because they're here now. And
It's the same old though.
Yeah.
Time and time again.
Yeah.
Tell me about your development business.
Development. So this is where, you know, our vision for our business is now going.
Most of our time is on this now, isn't
development
it?
and land. So the most recent bit of land, obviously, we started development by investing in projects with you.
Yeah.
You know, and thank you for giving us that opportunity, because we learned so much of you and so much of Russell, you know, of how developments work and the A to Z. And then in the last, I'd say 6 months, this last year, we felt confident that we can now go and do one by ourselves. So we found this off-market piece of land, negotiated the heck out of it. Chris did what he did best.
We were good cop, bad cop, weren't we? So Darcy's very, not when we go to these kind of viewings, she's very nice and does her thing, very logical. And I'm a bit more like, come on, like, what can you give me for this piece of land? It works quite well.
It does. So we negotiated it down from $1 million to 665, which for us was a massive win. Got quite a few builders quotes and architects on board to say the build will be about 1.2 and then it's going to be worth 2.7 at the end. So there's just,
and what are you doing with it?
6 bungalows.
Nice. Planning already?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. That's going to be huge.
It's going to be a really, really nice development. We've already got agents saying that there's buyers. We know 3 people that want to buy them as well.
So what will the profit be on that then?
Just over 800 grand. And that's conservative.
If you that's the thing though, if you just do one project like that a year, if you can make, you know, sort of around $1 million a year on that, and then you've obviously got your rent to rents and stuff, which is a nice bit of cash flow.
Yeah.
And you know, you deal selling and shit, but you can live really comfortably.
Well, that's the goal now, isn't it? One a month of these.
One a month?
Sorry, one a year of these.
Yeah.
We did another viewing last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, another off-market piece of land, literally the street opposite our house.
Yeah, you probably like this one, actually.
Yeah, you would.
Oh, well, we'll talk about it off camera.
Yeah. One of our friends in the area took us around it, and currently it's like an old house on a big piece of land, and all down the street they've demolished the house and built 2 on the land instead. Nice, new, modern. They're worth minimum 2 mil. All the house along that street. It's like a very well-known street.
This one just needs to follow the pattern, doesn't it? It's quite a simple one.
Planning would be easy. We know the MP of our area now. We became quite good friends with him.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, planning would be easy.
Great.
And brilliant thing is, she doesn't want to exchange until next May. So you don't actually have to pay for it until next May. So it's, looking like another good potential route to go down.
I love that. What would be your final pieces of advice to somebody watching this that really wants to get into property, that's been watching too many YouTube videos and needs to start doing it? What's their next steps?
Mine would be, don't just wait and assume something good's going to happen to you. I was always kind of a happy-go-lucky guy. Still am in some ways, but I worked in a children's home. I played bingo with my gran every month. I called my mum every day. I was like, consider myself a good guy, and I had that mindset of like, something good's going to come. I've just got to wait. I'm a nice guy. Like karma's coming, right? And I think a lot of people think like that, but that's completely wrong. You have to be the one that makes stuff happen. You have to take the leap. You have to go to a crash course. You have to get a mentor. You have to go to property viewings. You've got to be the one that pushes yourself. That would be my advice. Don't just wait. Don't just because you're a good person assume good things will come, because it doesn't. I had a tough year before all my property stuff started, and I had to really dig deep and push through all that stuff to go on and do what we've done now. So yeah, that would be mine. Don't wait, just do.
Yeah, I would say similar. Like if you know that you want something and you know how to get it, which for most people is coming to a £1 crash course. I mean, if you want something really bad, then you should at least be willing to sit down for a day with you and in a great network for £1. Do that. That's where everything starts. And yeah, just, I always say the most dangerous thing you can do for yourself is nothing. If you want a change, then you have to do a change to see it. You can't just wait around. You can't just say, oh, it's not the right time. There will never be a right time, as I learned the hard way. If you want to do it, just do it.
How do your family feel now about your success?
They are very, very happy for us.
I met your parents for the first time last week.
You did. Yeah.
And they were like, oh, thank you. Really nice to me. They probably wouldn't have said that a year ago or so,
No.
2 years ago when you first started. So with that being said then, I'm going to leave a link in the description with tickets to the £1 Property Investors Crash Course. Should people come along?
Definitely.
Absolutely. Can't wait to meet you. 100%.
Come down. Let's meet up. Let's do business. Come meet me. Spend the day with me. I'll leave a link below. Just £1. What are you waiting for? I'll see you there.